welcome back to another edition of Legally Insane. I'm your host, Matt Ritter. I'm a lawyer turned comedian, and with me, as always, is the hilarious Tony Sam.
I'm a comedian. I've never been a lawyer. I don't know nothing about it.
Guess what? We're talking about the history of diplomatic immunity.
Oh,
yeah, that's a real
fun.
thing.
We're not going to watch Lethal Weapon 2.
You thought I was inviting you over to watch Lethal Weapon 2? I wouldn't do that. I would invite you over to watch Lethal Weapon 1 and watch the whole, probably just the first two.
That would have been a pretty good
We're not going to watch the one with Chris Rock in it.
That's Lethal Weapon 4.
4, yeah. We would stop at 2.
Now, when they made those subsequent movies, did they call it, so Lethal Weapon 2, is that Lethal Weapon 2? Lethalerer.
And the third one was the Lethalist.
Yeah, more Lethalerer.
I think that was before people realized that it only goes est. After that, people started catching on, and they're like, oh, we're kind of trapped into 3 if we just do est.
Lethal Weapon 5, Suicide Pact.
I think.
And that would be all the writers together.
Yeah, they're like
the writers get together and end it all.
We ran out of ideas, so
this will be fun. I'm so excited.
So the concept of diplomatic immunity, it goes back a really long way.
You have to say it though. When you say it, you have to go diplomatic immunity.
It goes back a really long way. It goes back as far as ancient India. It was actually featured in the epic story Ramayana in between 3000 and 2000 BC, and the Mahabharata around 4th century BC.
Now, they were all tight with Gandhi, right?
They were all very tight, and he was a peaceful man. And messengers...
He was a peaceful man.
He was a very peaceful man. No, this was way before Gandhi. I just said 3,000 years ago.
I know. I was being stupid.
Yeah. So messengers and diplomats were actually given immunity from capital punishment. So this in the Ramayana, as the story goes, the demon king.
Oh, this is where don't shoot the messenger.
Exactly. So that's how it all started out. It was like, wait a minute. The demon king Ravana ordered the killing of Hunaman, Ravana's younger brother Vibhishana.
I need you to say these right.
Vibhishana pointed out that the messengers or diplomats shouldn't be killed.
That was tight.
Yeah, because before that, it was like, hey, I need you to go tell those guys I want to kick their asses.
I'm sure that you think they sent a message like that.
How do you think they sent it?
I want you to send them a message to kick their ass. The way you said it was like we're on a playground.
No. It was more like this. It was like,
don't do an accent. Don't do it.
I want you to tell them to burn in hell.
That's a weirder message. Look, I thought you were going to do an Indian accent. I was going to stop you because I don't want people to think about you
so,
like that.
I mean, there were some pretty nasty messages during wartime being sent.
Oh, I bet it's war.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think the message was? All right, here's another one.
You will give me 50 rupees for your kingdom.
It was nastier than that. It wasn't just give me your jewels.
Or
we will kill and rape everyone.
I will
in your
rape
village.
Everyone you
and the
love.
messenger had to say this. He wasn't even like a rapey guy. He was just
So the messenger would be like, I just want you to know I'm not saying this.
I'm not saying
this. But anyway, I will rape you. I will rape your family. I will rape your dog. I will rape your dog's dog. And
your cat.
I will rape your cat.
Yeah, but in front of thousands of people who are his enemy.
You'd have to read this aloud.
You would have to read it aloud in front of thousands
I
of
do decree upon proclamation.
Do you think that was a coveted job?
No. Well, I bet you actors probably jumped at the chance. They're like, oh, boy, this is my chance. Oh, God golly, I can't wait.
Read the lines and like, do I have to say this verbatim? Do I have to say the thing about killing and raping everybody in their village, or can I?
Do I have to stay on book, or can I dance around the script? Because I'm really about just exploring the character. Oh yeah, who's my agent on this?
Is there can I just make it my own? Like instead of how about this? I feel like what about instead of saying I'm going to kill all of them, I am going to kiss all
Right.
of them.
Do you mind if we make it kiss? Because I'd really rather kiss everybody. I mean, it's your message. I'll say whatever's, but
Yeah, I would prefer if you say kill. That's kind of what I'm going for.
We need you to stick to the script.
We're kind of trying to threaten them.
Is this a union job?
Look, just stick to the lines, okay? We don't need somebody who's
all
going
right.
to
Well,
improvise.
that's good.
So then, look.
That's where that all started.
Well, and then
actually,
that's where it started, but it evolved over the years because a lot of wars were considered rebellions. So
the rebellion,
right? So these were
like Star Wars.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't like
scum.
It wasn't always considered like we are two equal combatants. We are the kingdom, and then these guys are rebelling against us. So
that's war, right?
Yeah,
I don't think they look at each other like equals.
But like sometimes it's like, hey, we're two different countries, but other times it was like we're revolting. So there was even more hostility towards the messenger.
We're revolting.
Yeah,
you're revolting.
So in such cases, the servants of the criminal sovereign were also considered accomplices. So when they showed up, they were already considered.
So they would kill the messenger.
Yeah, they just kill him because they were considered an accomplice.
Well, in that case, who would do that? Who would want to do that?
Well, that's the point. It was a tough job. I'm thinking a lot of people got forced out to do that.
Right, it's like, well, you got to do it, or I guess we'll rape your family.
yeah.
We're going to rape their family, but if you don't do this, we'll rape your family. It was the original
Catch-22, I think.
That's right. It's like, well, my family's going to get raped, and I'm going to die, or I could
go
live.
out there. Maybe they will take kindly to my message.
Yeah, I wonder how many people were like, "Hey, before I read this, I just want you to know that I've considered joining your team."
Yeah, I just want you to know that if you hate what I say, I also hate what I say.
Hey, bro, I just want you to know this doesn't come from me.
This isn't from me. This is just coming from above.
All right.
So during the actual Greek era, Herodotus recorded that when heralds, which were messengers of the Persian king Xerxes, that guy Xerxes in the movies, that big scary dude, he demanded earth and water as symbols of submission from the Greek cities.
Could I see the name?
Yeah.
Are you saying it right?
Xerxes, Xer. Yeah, I've seen the movie. I saw
Clash the
300. And
is he the guy who goes, "I am kind"?
Yes.
I am kind.
Yeah, that guy. That's Xerxes.
Yeah, he was weird in that movie.
He's weird. I mean, he demanded earth and water. He demanded you submit. So the Athenians threw him into the pit, the messengers, and the Spartans threw them down a well because they said, hey, you want earth and water, you can find it at the bottom of a well. Whoa. So that was what you got as a messenger during the Greek era. But
throw him in the pit.
Yeah, throw him in the pit. Because they were delivering a message.
The pits. Do you think that's where that came from? Wow, we're just figuring out where everything came from.
That might be the original.
Boy, that's the pits.
This is the pits.
Right? No, it'd be like, this is the pits!
At least there's water down here.
Right.
But Herodotus, he wrote about this maltreatment of the envoys, and he considered.
This was his personal blog?
Herodotus was the original blogger, actually, it turns out. It's interesting because I printed out something about him.
Shut up. I thought you print off his blog.
About Herodotus. He was a contemporary of Socrates. He was widely referred to as the father of history.
Oh, he was like Donovan to what's his face?
Not sure where you're going. I still don't know. I don't know where you're going.
What's this? The singer, the folk singer.
Oh, Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
Oh, I thought you were on a Greek.
The best part is me going, hey. You're like, what are you doing?
Well, I thought you were talking about a Greek historian.
No,
I thought you were quizzing me on Greek history.
To Socrates, like Donovan was.
Yes. So, but he was the first historian to have broken from the Homeric tradition of treating historical subjects as a method of investigation. He collected his materials critically and arranged them into a historiographic narrative.
Boring.
No, but it's
sorry.
It's kind of cool. So he was the first blogger, and he was the one who was like, you know what? I don't think history's gonna see kindly on you throwing these messengers into the pits.
In the pits.
Yeah. So he claimed that when Sparta ended up collapsing, it was because they did this to the messengers. So that was sort of the beginning.
Was there really just 300?
What's that? Were there really just 300 of them? Seems unlikely, but we like the underdog story.
They got wiped out.
They did get wiped out, but they killed hundreds of thousands of the Persians first. So they did pretty well considering. But so then things hit a real low point when a Roman envoy was urinated on as he was leaving the city of
Tarentum. Not as
he
he delivered the message. He's like, all right, well, here we go. Hey, what the?
Gee whiz, man. Maybe that's where gee whiz
Gee
came
whiz.
from.
We are just really figuring it out.
So the oath of that envoy, you know what he said after he got urinated on?
Hey, is it raining?
It's raining men. No, he said, this stain will be washed away with blood.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I don't think piss comes out with it's not like tomato juice.
You don't dab it with red wine.
He's like, no, this will come out. We just need to put blood on it.
Hey, man, you smell like piss.
Well, just soak it in some blood overnight, and I'm sure it'll be fine.
I don't think that's actually...
No, I read it in something I wrote.
Did you read it in Herodotus' blog?
Yeah, I read it in Herodotus' blog.
Yeah, no, but did you read his updated one? He said he was joking about the blood thing. It's actually bleach.
Boy, don't I have piss on my face.
Yeah, gee whiz. So his vow to wash away that stain of getting pissed on as a messenger was fulfilled during the Second Punic War.
That's not a real word.
Imagine what caused the first
Punic War. It was piss.
He was super pissed.
Right? The piss.
Oh, man. And then, so then, we'll move along in history. And Pope.
Move it along.
Pope Gelasius the first was the first. Pope Gelasius.
Pope.
The Pope.
Oh, it's a hip
Pope
poop.
Gelasius the first was the first Pope recorded as enjoying diplomatic immunity, as noted in a letter to the Emperor Anastasius.
Hey, I just want you to know I'm immune.
Yeah, I've got immune. Like
Love, Pope
Gelasius the first.
The first.
Yeah. And so
Gelasius the juiciest.
They called him Juicy J. Juicy J. Pope Gelasius.
DJ Juicy J.
He used to spin sick.
And the fresh piss.
This stain will be washed away with blood. And so then we get to Genghis Khan. He took diplomatic immunity pretty seriously.
I think he took lots of things.
He took a lot of things.
He was a pretty uptight dude.
So as you can imagine, a guy like that, he was high strung, Genghis Khan. And one thing that bothered him was if you killed his diplomats.
That's the one thing.
That was the one thing. He allegedly.
Everything else
he was cool until you messed with his diplomats.
He seemed pretty uptight in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
No, he was a pretty hostile dude.
The one thing he can't stand is two punk teens in a traveling phone booth.
So you can imagine how he'd feel about somebody murdering his diplomats. So these guys called the Khwarezmid Empire, they killed a couple of his diplomats. He claimed to have sent them there to negotiate a peace.
Oh, boy.
Then he razed all of their cities. He killed all of them.
Oh, boy.
Yeah,
I can just imagine AC/DC blaring in the background as he did it, too.
Yeah, no, so he wiped out the entire empire because of that. And so that became the beginning of diplomatic immunity. And so then we move forward to the British Parliament. We get to more modern times.
We do a lot of jumping around to a lot of countries.
Yeah, because I'm trying to give everybody a flavor
my question is, because we started in India.
Yeah.
We went then to the Greeks.
Yeah.
And to the Trojans.
Yeah.
And then we somehow got to Genghis Khan.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of chit chat? Was there a lot of, hey, this diplomatic immunity thing's not too bad.
So it seems like that's where we're heading. So basically,
this is just the idea is passed along.
The idea gets passed along of like, oh shit, we don't get killed anymore for just going out there to give a message like that. That's pretty cool. So this is sort of why we're covering this topic, because the interesting thing is that we started from a point of there is no diplomatic immunity. You're on your own, messenger boy.
Right.
go out there and tell them we're going to go rape and kill.
Okay.
And then they get killed immediately. They get beheaded. And then slowly but surely throughout the history, some of the messengers were like, hey, do you guys think maybe you could protect me if I deliver this message? And
do you think that the messenger came up with the idea of diplomacy?
Probably not. I think what happened was people were on both sides of that thing, of that trade. You know, there were people who were on the winning and losing side of, you know, these back and forth wars.
Right.
And so they were like, wait a minute, I just killed his messenger.
He's going to kill mine.
He's going to kill my messenger.
It's going to get this whack and forth.
Right. It's just, how many messengers can you kill?
Right. I mean, a good messenger is hard to find.
I mean, especially one who, you know,
this day and age.
Yeah. I mean, back then, you know, read the whole, there weren't a lot of literate men. So
were they on scrolls or were they on like heavy tablets?
Yeah. So it's a mix. Right? I mean, sometimes these guys are carrying heavy tablets.
Heavy tablet wrapped in a parchment.
Sheep's parchment.
So I feel like this is all a slow build to get us back to Lethal Weapon.
Well, eventually, the point is it goes from...
Am I wrong? Am I really
wrong? We're going to get to Lethal Weapon. We're going to go from diplomatic immunity being one of the most revolutionary concepts, a really awesome legal term that was created, to becoming the most flagrant thing that exists in our society legally today. So,
okay, so diplomatic immunity started out as, hey, let's not kill the messenger.
Right.
But then it becomes something more
sinister. Yeah, so in the British Parliament in the 1700s, they started giving diplomatic immunity to a Russian resident because he was being harassed. You know, that was the other part, right? If you went to live, so then in the
by Trump's ancestors.
Get him out of here.
He's trying to piss on us again.
That stain will be washed.
This orange family's trying to piss on us.
Hey, you guys are dry cleaners, right? Can you use blood on this one? Somebody just pissed on me.
You're fired. You're fired.
So then we started having diplomats living in other countries, right? The concept of diplomat became a thing. So these people weren't just coming to deliver messages of doom and gloom.
That's right. They're like, hey, you mind if we stay here a little bit and party?
Because we may want to party here. They don't drink where I'm from.
We promise we'll be good. I feel like this is where this is headed.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody was like, well, that was what it was, right? Every country was like, oh, so you want your diplomats to live in our country? And they were like, yeah, it'll be cool.
But
if they do anything, we're going to mess them up.
Okay.
No, but then the countries were like, well,
then we won't send them.
And then we can't transact and we can't do business. So everybody finally was like, wait a minute, you know what? This makes a lot of sense. So they started establishing, you know, diplomatic enclaves all over the world.
That's a good word.
And in the 19th century, the Congress of Vienna asserted the rights of diplomats. And this became a European model, which then became the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations.
Of what year?
Well, in the 19th century. We don't know. I don't know.
So this is the 1800s.
1800s. But in the U.S.
Vienna.
In the U.S., we adopted the Diplomatic Relations Act of 1978.
We waited till the 1970s?
We were like, well,
so wait a minute. What happened up until then? No one had diplomatic immunity?
So they had it. It just wasn't codified officially.
Codified?
Yeah, in our documents.
What does codified mean?
It means we encoded it in our...
Codified.
Codified. I say codified.
I thought that you were talking about codfish.
We codified it with some salt.
Hey, nice cod piece. Let's codify that cod piece.
We codified it with some salt.
Elephant nose underwear.
And now we're in a world where diplomatic immunity is out of control.
So after the 70s, everything goes to hell.
All over the world.
Why do you think that is? Because the 70s were fast.
The 70s were an awesome
Anything goes, baby. Studio 54, baby.
I think because of Studio 54 mostly.
Mostly. You sound like Ripley from Aliens. Mostly. The diplomats come out at night. Mostly.
I mean, I think because becoming a diplomat was an awesome job.
Yeah,
Once you found out you had immunity, you were like,
hold on a minute.
wait, hold on.
I'm
So,
a diplomat?
wait,
I'm going to some
wait, I don't have to pay parking tickets?
I'm
It's
good.
party
Have it.
time.
Smoke if you got
I can. We're not allowed to drink here? Oh, says this guy.
I
Why don't you come to
believe this card will cover it.
The diplomatic immunity card?
Yeah.
So we had a lot of incidents after that. So we started having these incidents.
Incidents.
Yeah, we had an on-duty police officer murdered in London by a person shooting from inside the Libyan embassy.
They're shooting from inside the embassy.
What do we do?
Get him out.
We can't.
So can you revoke? Is this what you're
Well,
getting?
you can. The incident became
You
a
just
major.
got to have Danny Glover around.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, if you have Danny Glover around, problem solved. The incident
we
became
gotta
a major
revoke enough.
factor.
Sorry, we got to revoke another license, Danny.
We're going to revoke some
Danny!
So this incident, somebody shot and killed a British police officer.
Oh,
and Libya admitted general responsibility for it. They weren't
what the hell does that mean?
They weren't like,
yeah, we may have did it.
Oh, you mean the shooting of the officer that came
Yeah,
from
that
inside
happened.
We're generally responsible for that one. Generally speaking. So Margaret Thatcher decided to allow Ronald Reagan to bomb Libya in 86.
Oh, that's a big knee-jerk reaction. Hey, kill this cop. Bomb everybody. Holy cow. Was with Wacky Gaddafi?
Yeah, that was the good old days of Libya.
Muammar?
Yeah, those were the good old days where crazy stuff happened.
They killed him in those bombings?
Not him. No.
No, he did die more recently.
So the notion was, look, diplomatic immunity was intended to keep diplomats from also, maybe running afoul of local laws that have different customs from your own country, religious differences.
I don't like things that are different from me.
Yeah. I'm not gonna obey these silly laws. So things kind of hit a crazy point.
Hit the fan.
Yeah, get this. In Burma, so other countries, not just the U.S. and England, Burma had a diplomatic relationship with Singapore.
Oh yeah, the very contentious Burma-Singapore
They were
relations.
getting along fine until 1967.
The fabled relations between Burma and Singapore that all our listeners are very well aware of.
They may not be aware of it, but you know what? This is a great one. So a guy named Burma's ambassador, Sao Bunwa, he confronted his wife, Shirley.
Sao Bunwa is married to Shirley.
And he believed she was having an affair.
Yeah, with someone with a normal name.
And they're neighbors in the Cinnamon Garden suburb.
Come on.
This is true.
Did you make this
I'm not
up
making
today?
this up. This isn't Mad Libs.
Oh, right.
They heard gunshots, and later that day, a smell wafted from the Bunwa home. Guess what that smell was?
Beans.
Fire. Neighbors saw 3 Buddhist monks conducting final rites over a funeral pyre. He decided to kill and burn her on his front lawn.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and guess what he invoked? Diplomatic
immunity. Wait a minute. So he barbecued her.
He barbecued her. He had monks there. Like, it was a whole...
Like, this murder smells delicious.
But, I mean, there were people, with the little...
My delicious murder.
Marshmallow sticks.
Oh.
And they sent him home. Yeah.
You gotta go. Wait, that's it?
Yeah, they said
you just get sent home?
Yeah. You gotta go. But listen, so there were a couple incidents where there weren't a lot, like just letting you go home because there was some too much crazy stuff happening.
Okay, so
I've got a guy, an American embassy guy. This was in 2011. He killed 2 Pakistani civilians, and he claimed they were about to rob him.
Sure.
And it turns out he was actually working for the CIA.
Oh,
and
so he was an operative.
The U.S. State Department requested diplomatic immunity, and he was released So a lot of times what happens is when you get diplomatic immunity and you kill somebody, he was released and they paid him $2.4 million in something they call daya, which is a form of blood money.
You give that to the country.
You give it to the family of the people you killed, and a little bit to the country. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
You have to have a bargaining chip, I feel. They have to have a reason to return you.
Well, yes. So a lot of times that happens, but also, so the country, no matter what, the country of origin has to, if they want you, if you kill somebody, the country they have to waive the immunity. So like your home country can go, you know what, we're not gonna.
Yeah, go ahead. It's all right.
You can have him.
Go ahead.
You can have him.
But
you can.
But
wait. But I thought I had.
But
I thought I had.
Okay.
Yeah. But so a major problem, really the big problem, is the parking tickets.
That's the big problem, not murdering Shirley.
Yeah, in 2001 in New York City, these diplomats, guess how much they racked up?
I know you're really upset about this.
Yeah.
$2 million.
$21.3 million
in parking tickets.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they do. You don't pay it after 10 days. It doubles, and then.
So it was really more like 10. You're feeling bad because you live in LA. You're feeling bad for the diplomats now because of how
because
egregious.
have you seen the parking restrictions? I mean, good grief. Oh.
I mean, they got the tags too, so they can pretty much park almost any. You know how egregious it is to have 21 million?
Wait, if they got the tag on their car, why are they getting ticketed?
There's probably still some no-go zones even for the guys with the tags.
Really? I thought you got the tag. That means
I know, that's what I thought too. I always kind of wanted to drive around with fake diplomatic plates on the back of my car.
You know, Beverly Hills must have the most of the world. It must be the world epicenter of 20-somethings driving Mercedes with handicap placards.
More than diplomatic signs?
Yeah, I've never seen so many handicapped men and women wearing Prada. Should we do our next podcast on handicapped immunity? Yeah, I want to blow that story right open. Yeah, no, we should. Because I mean, I see women coming in high heels and they're obviously just so disabled.
Well, I mean, I have a service dog, so I understand.
What is your service dog for?
To make me feel safe.
Is that true?
Yeah, you've seen her.
No, I know you have a dog, and I've seen her, but I didn't know that she. It's a fake service. You just have the little sweater, so you can bring her into the coffee place. I've got the sweater. Okay, I don't know. So they guess how much of that $221 million they actually collected? $0. No, they collected 160,000 of it. Yeah, which isn't a lot. But by the way, speaking of people driving fast or driving illegally in LA, just last year, Sheikh Khalid bin Hamad Al Thani, the fifth, he was driving his Ferrari LaFerrari. LaFerrari, like Le Car? Ferrari is called LaFerrari. Ferrari LaFerrari. Read it and weep. Ferrari LaFerrari. That's the name of the actual car. Who knew? How about that? Yeah. Never heard. Did you guys know that Ferrari is actually called Ferrari? No, that must be a type of Ferrari. Ferrari was like, I wonder if they won't know that it's a Ferrari unless we name each model La Ferrari. That'd be naming your kid John John. So what happened to him? He was drag racing through the residential neighborhood of Beverly Hills. Uh-oh. Mm-hmm. And he owns just in case they weren't sure it was him, he owns the cars, and he also owns a drag racing team. But he's a member of the Qatari ruling family, so what do you think happened to him? He's cool. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's just chilling. Yeah, no, he fled the country after that. They were thinking about pressing charges. When you say he fled, he just got on his private jet and pretty much. If you're a diplomat, they're not going to hold you. They're not really going to hold you unless you do something really egregious, I think. The thing is, if you kill people, you get sort of in trouble. How does this work? If you're on a plane, if you have a private jet and you're trying to escape, Do the police? Who goes after you if you actually get to take off?
So the police have to call the State Department, and then the State Department has to call the ambassador of Qatar, and they go, "Hey, this
We
guy
got a
was driving a
situation."
Ferrari LaFerrari."
Oh, is that a real car?
Yeah, it's called Ferrari LaFerrari.
Hey, hold on a second. Everybody, did you know that the Ferrari LaFerrari is a real car?
It goes pretty fast.
I mean, crazy, right?
It goes-
Anyway, what did he do?
He drove the Ferrari LaFerrari.
Now, every time you say it, it just seems so weird.
It's a real car. He drove it through Beverly Hills neighborhood at 130 miles an hour.
Oh, that's that slow.
Yeah, well, in America, you can't drive 130 miles an hour in a residential neighborhood.
We didn't know. Nobody told us.
So what do you want to do?
Oh, I'm cool.
Well,
If you're cool.
we would like you to waive immunity so we could put him on trial for reckless driving. No? You say no?
No, he's one of us.
So that's it?
Yeah, bye. Click.
That's what happens.
That's it. So he got away.
But the thing is, it goes both ways. Here's how I feel about it. I feel that, like, if we're going to let this stuff happen, we kind of we should send some kind of bad diplomats overseas.
Bad diplomats.
Yeah.
That sounds like the latest Vince Vaughn film.
Yeah. Vince Vaughn and Favreau.
Favreau. John Favreau. Bad diplomat.
In Qatar, running
Oh
around
man,
Qatar.
we should make that movie. And
Yeah. Hey, you know what we should do? We should just wear crop tops because those are illegal in Qatar.
and we'll be like the old diplomats, and we'll like corrupt the young diplomats, and we'll make them bad diplomats. Sold.
Yeah. Yeah. Sold in room.
Right. I just gotta get him attached to the picture.
Yeah. How do we get, if anybody listening knows how to attach Vince Vaughn or John Favreau
Yeah,
to
we're
bad
looking to
diplomat.
attach anyone to our idea right now.
It doesn't have to be Qatar, too. If Qatar doesn't sell, we could have it be in a European country, like somewhere.
Prague.
Prague, yeah.
I like Prague.
Prague, because, yeah, like they're doing absinthe and
Yeah, we could get some real hijinks. You see that
kill
movie Hostel?
a hooker.
Hostel.
They got to kill a hooker, and then they have to try and get immunity.
Right. Was that a movie?
Or you kill a hooker and you get immunity?
Yeah.
No.
No, I dreamt it.
Okay. Yeah, you did that. You dreamt about us taking a trip to Prague?
Yeah. Part of me hopes that, I know I said this was going to maybe go back to Lethal Weapon, but I
Yes.
actually think there's going to be a Steven Seagal reference here.
Oh,
Above the law.
Oh, maybe. Now I got to figure out how to get
Right?
Steven Seagal in here. No, but there are a couple of interesting ones.
Nico.
Do you remember some of these? You probably remember. In 2008, a Mexican press attaché, Rafael Quintero Curiel, stole 8 blackberries from the White House during a press briefing.
The fruit.
Blackberries. Remember before there was an iPhone? Remember there was that thing?
I know. I was hoping
with all the little-
he took 8 blackberries from a mixed fruit dish.
You can't. Hey, don't be so greedy, man. Look, you see that this is only cantaloupe. This is only cantaloupe.
Right.
Don't
Those
steal-
are premium berries.
You can't steal all the premium. I mean, there's cantaloupe and there's watermelon.
Empty your pockets. Your pockets are ruined with
The man
blackberries.
to your left will have 8. I have placed 8 marked blackberries.
They've been.
I swear, I've never seen these blackberries in my life.
These aren't my blackberries.
Louis.
Oh, this is trading
Yeah,
places.
this is Trading Places. Louis. Oh, I'm so disappointed
But-
in you. Yeah, stealing blackberries. I hate when people do that, when they take the good berries out of a fruit salad that has so few.
No, I don't like when restaurants try and, like, I'll tell people I'm allergic to melon. And I think a lot of people are doing that now, just because I just want strawberries and.
Oh, that's a thing now? People just go, you know what? I'll take a fruit salad with just the expensive berries, but at the same price
That's
as
the thing I'm trying to do.
ones. I'll take a fruit salad, but I'd like it upgraded because of my allergy to cheap berries.
Right.
So this is the craziest story that I wanted to get to. This is like a Seagal film.
Ooh.
So this is the craziest abuse, I think, of
Diplomatic
immunity.
immunity.
So what's awesome about diplomatic immunity is you can smuggle drugs like big time.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest uses of
Why
of
aren't all the
diplomats.
diplomats just drug smugglers?
They are.
Is that what the story is getting to?
Most of them are like part-time. Most of them are like 17-year-old sons of diplomats who deal drugs.
So the diplomat's family also is immune.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. It's a pretty sweet gig. If your dad's a diplomat, you are the coolest kid in every high school.
Right. The dad probably just says, don't get caught. And
If you do, call this number.
right.
How awesome would that be to be a high schooler with diplomatic immunity?
Well,
You guys want to go kill somebody?
but wouldn't that reflect poorly on the diplomat?
Yes. Presumably, if it's low enough of an infraction, you just kind of sweep it under the rug.
I see. But otherwise, you're done.
I mean, once the press gets the wind of the fact that your kids are the number one drug dealers in
resign.
Miami.
You resign.
Yeah, you resign and then you get whisked back so you don't have to face the music. But so this was a pretty crazy one. In December 1983, the Nigerian government was overthrown in a coup. And so the new government jailed several ministers for corruption and embezzlement. However, the powerful former transport minister, Umaru Diko, he fled to London. And the military claimed that he used his position to enrich himself in a bunch of racketeering. And so they considered him a wanted fugitive. So they wanted to bring him back to Nigeria. So they hatched a plot to just kidnap him off the streets of London. And they apparently had the help of the Mossad. You know, the Mossad, the Israeli.
Yeah, of course I know him. He's cool.
Yeah, the Mossad Intelligence Service.
Yeah, you knew I knew.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So they tracked the guy down and they were going to arrest him. But instead they realized, how are we going to get this guy back to Nigeria?
How do we get him?
They got
to trick him.
We gotta, what can we do? We have diplomatic immunity. Wait, so we're allowed to bring bags that have diplomatic immunity too. Our bags.
The bags get diplomatic immunity?
Get diplomatic immunity.
How does that work?
So when you go to the airport, if you're a diplomat,
Diplomatic
immunity, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Just can you imagine rolling up to the airport with 2 satchels of weed? Diplomatic.
Diplomatic.
So moments after they kidnapped him, they threw him in a van and they brought a doctor with them to inject him with something to render him unconscious. Then they locked him in a crate and gave him diplomatic immunity.
He didn't.
They did. They locked him in a crate.
Well,
They put this guy, a living human,
in a crate.
So
they shipped him. Wait, so because he was in the box.
He was in the box.
He was immune.
The box was stamped, addressed to the Nigerian Ministry of External Affairs in Lagos, and they claimed diplomatic immunity for the crate's contents.
So they threw their own man in there.
Well, yeah, because they thought he was, a spy doing all this corrupt stuff.
So did he die in shipment?
Lucky for him, his secretary, apparently, this sounds a little fishy. His secretary glanced out the window just in time to see him getting bundled.
In a box.
Just in time to see him getting wrapped. She's like, hey, I don't know who I should be calling about this, but my boss, he looks like he's getting wrapped in a crate. It looks like they're stamping it with diplomatic immunity. Is it possible that they're shipping him?
Wait, so the government that wanted to kill him
They didn't want to kill him. They wanted to, kidnap him and get him back.
So wait, so his employee ratted on him.
It's hard to say who ratted on him. Somebody obviously did.
Just say it.
No, his secretary. Well, it says his secretary called up. And so the kidnap was initially thought to be work of criminals. So Scotland Yard started investigating. So they show up at the airport. we're looking for.
Hi, I'm Commandant Lestrade. Wait a minute. No, that's I mixed in Police Academy with Sherlock Holmes. Lieutenant Lestrade.
Is that Scotland Yard?
Yeah, well, Commandant Lessard was.
Commandant Lessard was.
Mahoney.
Yeah, and then
Mahoney.
What about Harris? Mahoney. Remember the guy from part 2?
Yeah, it was
Captain Harris. Mahoney.
I don't think he sounded like that.
How did he sound like?
He was the bad guy.
Yeah, the guy who was always on his case.
Remember, they always got tricked to going in the Blue Oyster. Those two dudes. Tackleberry. Sweet Hooks.
Oh, Tackleberry had that great gun.
Hooks.
Who's Hooks?
The girl. She was the black lady. Hightower.
Hightower was great. I love when he rips out the front seat and he drives from the back seat.
That's right.
He's got his foot on the. Yeah. So
what are we talking about? Oh, they were
Scotland Yard. I'm waiting for your Scotland Yard impression.
Ouch.
Are you doing Scotland Yard now?
Oh, hello. I'm Lieutenant Lestrade.
Hello.
I'm calling about the guy in the books.
Yeah. I think he's at the airport. Could you guys go check it out? I think they put him in like a box.
All right. I could do that.
All right. Yeah. And I think they're trying to ship him to Nigeria. So hurry up.
Oh, all right. all right. That's how I imagine that exchange went.
That was more Crocodile Dundee.
All right. That's a wicked googly.
That's not a crate.
This is a crate. Check this out. I keep it in my pocket. It's a good wicked boogly. So he gets there.
So the British government goes and orders customs officials at the airport to be vigilant when inspecting Nigeria-bound vessels. So the plane's like minutes away from taking off with this guy inside the crate. One customs officer sees the crate kind of.
Was the guy going to suffocate?
I think it had like little holes in it, you know?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, they didn't want to kill him. So I think it was, he was kind of like, hey, I'm in the crate. Why? And everybody was just ignoring
why
him.
was he talking in the crate? If
they probably had a muffler. And they were probably like they were like, nothing to see here.
Yep. Just ignore that talking box.
Just ignore the talking crate.
The mumbling. Oh!
Shh.
They kick it. They just kick it.
Yeah, they just keep kicking it. Shut up.
So
the customs.
They get it.
So the customs officer orders the crate to be opened, and they protest because they say, hey, we've got diplomatic immunity. And so then the customs officer calls the police, and it turns out that they had mislabeled the crate.
What'd they label it?
They spelled diplomatic wrong or something.
No, they didn't. You used the wrong stamp. This says fragile.
You idiots.
It's a major award. That's Italian. Oh, no.
Idiot.
So they
I told you had one job.
Yeah?
You had one. What was your one job?
Right, diplomatic immunity.
No, diplomatic immunity. The diplomatic was just the joke that we did.
I wrote that because we kept saying it.
No, it's diplomatic immunity. It's
Boy, don't I have egg on my face.
Yeah. Gee whiz.
Whoopsie.
Don't make me piss on you and send you back with that stain. So lucky for them, this mistake, they allowed him to pop open the box. And,
so then he had to face charges.
Yeah. So that was a bad diplomatic crisis, and
I'd say so.
The Nigerian. So I mean, it wasn't even that bad. So the Nigerian High Commissioner was just declared persona non grata in London. The guy who arranged for
that makes me think about gratin potatoes.
Yeah, he was persona au gratin.
Persona au gratin.
That means you can only
smothered in cheese.
You can only
cooked at 350.
You can only go to cheese-based restaurants in London.
Persona au gratin.
That means you're not allowed to eat anything if it doesn't have cheese on it.
Man, count me in.
We'll make him suffer.
I want that.
Yeah. No, persona non grata, and the head of Nigerian Airways narrowly escaped being arrested. They were like, Should we arrest any of the Nigerian?
That doesn't
Airways
sound like
people?
an airline I ever want to fly.
Yeah, that they'll crate you.
No, that sounds like that. They probably don't have the strictest safety standards.
Yeah, and so even more recently, that was the craziest story. But so I just wanted to bring you up to last week, and I wanted to sort of get into why I think
A lot of rustling of papers right
a lot of rustling. I wanted to get into why I think we should probably have a second.
Let me just ask you something.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of color prints you got there. Where are you printing all these color prints?
You've been giving me a lot of hard time about the colored printing in there. I've got a tricolored printer.
Holy cow. Look at this guy with the color printer.
So
Our listeners should know that
you made me feel bad about this.
apparently
I feel
we
like
live in the ivory castle of home printing because there's a lot of color.
I do this for our listeners.
All right. I hope
I do this so you can have some
it's all
visual aids. What does that look like to you? It's a subway sign. So this is from last week. This is what got me thinking we should do this story is because it's 2017. Diplomatic immunity was originally invented for a good reason. Mm-hmm. It was used throughout history to save lives. It was used egregiously a couple times. Once, by this Nigerian guy in the crate. I mean, do you feel Danny Glover was justified in killing that South African
that
diplomat?
guy was a prick.
He was a prick.
Right in the eyes.
He also killed a bunch of people, so...
Yeah, I mean, prick, sure, but he did kill people.
Yeah, he also killed people. So, and now, 2017, you've got these diplomats running around on the subway touching people. They're just acting like homeless people now. This is what we've been reduced to. On January 11th, a diplomat from Sudan was charged with forcible touching for an incident which occurred on the 4 train leaving Grand Central.
Explain to me forcible touching. Counselor, what's forcible touching? So
there's touching that you want and that you've requested. Mm-hmm. Show me on the doll where he touched you.
Pink.
Right. Show me on the subway where he touched you.
Pink, pink.
This guy is a diplomatic. He was taken into custody after he allegedly rubbed up against a 38-year-old woman on the northbound train.
Oh, boy. Can I just tell you that this is a little side note, but apparently the trains are so crowded in Tokyo
that you have to forcibly rub up against people. Right,
so this is happening. For people, it's a fetish thing. Because Japanese people love fetishes. So there's a club you can go to that it's
actually a subway.
It simulates being in a train car and you're all smushed up. It's called like a groping bar. It's just people just groping each other in a
But you have to do it while like holding one arm up.
But you're stuffed into a crowded place, yeah.
That's amazing. And we got to take a trip there.
Boy, the Japanese, huh?
I mean, they really are ahead of their time. They're always ahead of the curve, You think... Subway, it's filthy. But then, there's a couple creeps who are like, oh, no, the Subway's where it's at.
Well, that's why I brought this foot-long Subway sandwich, so you and I could simulate the experience.
Is that why you brought the Subway sandwich?
That's right. We're going to sit. We're going to both stand on the sandwich, and we're going to just...
No, I thought you were going to put it between us and, smush against it.
We're going to sandwich it.
We're going to sandwich the sandwich.
Yeah. All right. Let me just get ready.
I have to go to Japan. I got to go to Japan now. I feel like
I got to go to bed.
I got to go to Japan. I must. So this guy, the officers apparently observed him grind his crotch against the victim while in transit. But
how do you be so honest? Like,
excuse me, sir.
What?
Are you grinding up against that woman?
What? This whole thing? No,
I don't think she wants you to do that.
I'm grinding.
You wouldn't by any chance happen to be a diplomat, would you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Carry on then.
Good day. Grind.
I mean, this is absurd. He was ultimately released after proving he was a diplomat. Not, hey, prove you didn't grind up against her.
Man. So I want to know what the whole rest of the train car is like. This guy
better not be a diplomat.
Oh, if this guy's a diplomat, we are
totally. So the cops, they said they had no choice but to free this guy,
but to grope him.
You would hope they gave him a little "How's your father?" on the way out,
right?
According to the New York Post, he allegedly takes his time to find his prey. He studied the posteriors of all viable candidates while waiting on the subway platform.
This is the New York Post.
Yeah.
So it must be true.
It must be true. He stood on the platform. He's like, what should I do with all this diplomatic immunity?
All this diplomatic ass.
All this sweet diplomatic
Sweet
ass.
ass.
So he fled back to his
Seems
Sudan.
like everyone got away in every one of these stories.
Well, I didn't read the stories where there were a bunch where if you kill somebody, a lot of the countries allowed. There's one in Florida.
Execution.
This was pretty disturbing, actually. This is a Florida one that was really scary. This guy was going around killing gay people at nightclubs in Florida, and
Was he a diplomat?
yeah, he decided to go around. He was a Belgian diplomat, and
How many people did he kill?
he killed a couple. He went to these gay bars, and he would pick somebody up, and then
The way you said it. What are these gay bars? Now, have you heard of these things?
No, this was the 80s. This was a
I
newer
know,
thing.
but the way you said it was like.
He went to
Are you guys familiar with these things?
He went to a gay bar, a homosexual nightclub, and he would go down to Florida by bus. His name was Rudy Van de Boer.
Rudy Van Door.
Van de
Hey,
Boer.
remember when we talked last week? Well, it all depends on what order these air.
You think it's the brother of somebody else?
No, you said anyone whose last name
Van
starts with Van is evil.
So this guy, he went to gay bars in Florida, and he would pick somebody up. He would take him to the beach. Nice romantic walk on the beach, and then he
Sure.
would shoot them and kill them.
On the beach?
On the beach.
Oh, boy, ruins the beach for me.
Yeah. It's not great.
No, I
It's
don't
not
go to
great
the
if
beach
people
to
are-
get shot.
Yeah. And so out of the blue, one morning, he just went up to the police, and he was like, hey, I'm the guy you're looking for. I'm going to turn myself in.
And what happened?
What do you think happened?
They said, you got to go to jail.
Yeah, that's when they said you have to go to jail. But actually, the Belgians were thinking about not waiving his immunity because Florida has the death penalty, and the Belgians don't. So they were like, "Look, we want to help you out, but we don't. We're better than you. We don't have the death penalty in Belgium."
So what happened?
So eventually, they made a deal. They said we won't ask for the death penalty, and he ended up serving. He's in jail now.
For life.
Yeah. So that was a happy ending.
Well,
So it works
who
out.
expected that?
Yeah. So it works out sometimes.
So what's the takeaway?
So the takeaway is that diplomatic immunity is just a disaster right now.
Just now in general.
Just now in general. The takeaway is I think we need to crack down on diplomatic immunity because it went from being, hey, this is pretty cool. We don't have to die every time we send a message to,
It seems like the
I wanna
U.S.
grind on that
diplomats.
girl in the subway.
Right. It seems like the U.S. diplomats are okay.
That's that's why I was saying we need to do a movie, Bad Diplomat.
Bad diplomat.
Yeah, because we're not being bad enough.
I can't wait for you guys to see it.
It's gonna be great.
It's going to be just so great.
Favreau, Vince Vaughn,
Favreau, if you're listening, Mr. Favreau, Bad Diplomats.
Yeah.
I think you're going to like it.
So the takeaway is it's legally insane to have unfettered diplomatic immunity.
It's legally insane.
It's legally.
Legallyinsane.com.
Yeah, we don't have that website.
Well, that's what a great treat.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you shared that with me.
Yeah, I'm so glad we shared that with the world.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you shared that with me.
All right, we'll see you guys next
Cool.
week.
Bye.